For more analysis on Kenya's politics and this historic day, I'm joined live via Skype from here in Washington by Professor James Ngundi of Georgetown University. Professor, welcome again to Africa 54.
Thank you, Esther.
Let me start you with a loaded question on what this petition means for future Kenya's elections, the Electoral Commission, preparedness, and voter education.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And I think there is a lot to be learned from this election. And also going by and listening to the judges of the Supreme Court, clearly one of the things that has worried Kenyans and clearly worried the Supreme Court judges was the dysfunctional nature that the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission displayed, especially during the final days of the tallying and verifying of the votes. So I think going forward, there is going to be a lot of work, and the judges did, the Chief Justice did mention that there is need for work to be done to make sure that we have a credible and a reliable IEBC or Election Commission that can produce and give Kenyans credible, reliable, and trustworthy election results every 5 years.
And given what you know as a Kenyan native on politics of ethnicity in the country, what does President-elect William Ruto need to do to harmonize the country?
One, I think there is something to be said about the politics of ethnicity this time around. I was in Kenya the last 3 weeks leading to the election. In fact, I left Kenya the evening of the election. And one of the things that was very salient, different from past elections, was you didn't hear ethnicity play as big a role. In fact, you hardly heard ethnicity as a factor in this cycle. And this is because of the role of coalitions. And maybe that is something to be cultivated going forward, not just in Kenya, but perhaps across the African continent. Coalitions that bring together people of different ethnic backgrounds. Because with that, the role of a singular ethnic group and its importance in the election is minimized almost to zero. And so this time around, it was interesting just hearing people talking about the coalitions that were made up of people, leaders from different ethnic backgrounds. And so going forward, hopefully, that is a page we will take and expand and even improve on, so that in future elections are based on groups, different groups of different ethnic peoples, as well as ideas and policy positions rather than tribes.
Given that Mr. Odinga will be 82 in 5 years when Kenya goes to the presidential polls again, what role do you think he is going to play in the opposition during this 5-year term of William Ruto?
I liked the reference your previous guest used of spent bullet. And I actually think for most Kenyans, but perhaps the reason we see Kenyans taking the loss, even Raila's own supporters taking his loss, not as hard as in the past elections, maybe because of that recognition that Raila is an elderly person today. And I think for most Kenyans, they would want to see Raila retire from politics as an elder statesman who provides guidance to the country how to secure our democratic tenets that are espoused under the 2010 Constitution. And even if he remains active, not necessarily in active elective politics where he runs for office. So hopefully this will be a time for Raila to start nurturing younger politicians to learn from him especially in terms of opposition politics and what opposition politics means in a democratic society.
Professor, quickly, name 2 sectors that President-elect William Ruto needs to address in terms of the economy.
Well, In terms of Kenya's economy, there's no question that the agricultural sector will always be, the bulwark of our economy, and there has been a lot of neglect in that part of the economy. So I'm hoping that is going to be a central focus of the new administration coming in. Right. It's not necessarily a part of the economy, but we always talk about fighting corruption because of the amount of money that we lose through corruption. And I really hope that Kenyans will be willing to change their culture and be willing to fight corruption if the country is to see the development that most Kenyans want to see in the future.
James, thank you for your insight. James Ngundi is a professor at Georgetown University.